Hey guys, again, this is Review Rant, and this is my second video of a series of movie review films. And as you can probably tell, I'm doing a first-person video this time because I recently discovered that my previous video, which was a trailer review, which had like the trailer of The Incredibles and everything while I was reviewing, does not fall in line with YouTube's fair use policy. So for now on, I will be recording in this way. Because I care about this channel, I must obey these laws, so I don't really have a choice, but I do plan on continuing to upgrade and expand my content. But without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, before I get my full depth review, be sure to click the like button and subscribe so I can bring more content to you guys and continue reviewing movies. Alright. So in this video, I will be reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now, I just want to say, I thought this was a good movie, and I think it was an improvement upon the first one. There are a lot of aspects I did not like about the first one. To start, one of the great things about both movies, you could say, was the inclusion of Chris Pratt. I mean, every movie he is in, he is just phenomenal. He always brings comedic aspect, and he was definitely stepped up in this movie. He brought a lot more quips and funny lines to this movie. For example, one of them was like where he was tranquilized while the island was exploding, and then lava was kind of like seeping towards him, but he was paralyzed, so he couldn't move. So it ended up being kind of this funny scene where he had to use his legs to maneuver around, and I thought that was a funny part. And another one would be like we saw in the trailers where Claire is like, Chris, be careful and all that, and he's like, well, if I die, just know it's your fault. And I thought that was a funny movie, and that can only be done by Chris Pratt. Now, that's what my first rides about the movie. Now, with that out of the way, time for my first rant. This would definitely be the side characters. I suspected this from the first time I saw the trailer. The teenagers are one of the worst parts about this movie. The boy teenager, who I suspected would be, an annoyance in a comedic aspect of the movie, it was so forced. Like he would scream from a drop of water. Like I swear, through the whole freaking movie, he was saying, "Oh, is it a T-Rex? Oh, is it a T-Rex?" And he was just scared of everything. He's putting freaking bug spray on while he was going to hunt for dinosaurs. Like that's the least of your problems. The next, it was the teenage girl. I thought she was definitely better than him, but she just ended up being kind of like an obnoxious, senseless. She didn't care about anything. She insulted, further than I thought she needed to, and yeah, she was still better, but I mean, they both were terrible. And this was definitely the awful villains were definitely the cherry on the top because they were not good in any way either. I mean, they were so cliche, comic. They were just selling dinosaurs for money. This is basically what we saw in the first movie with militarization of the dinosaurs, and they were no key aspect to it either. So I guess you could say that's two rants about it. Now, my second ride about this movie would be the beginning part of the movie and the end part of the movie. I thought this was way better than the first one. Now, the first one, we got more excitement, we got to see more of the island, and you just got to see more of the ramifications of the previous movie, the forgettable one with Chris Pratt. But anyway, that's besides the point. In the end of the part, it was more of an enclosed, it was in a house, as we saw from the trailers, and it was definitely more of a thrilling aspect. First part was more actionist, and was definitely enjoyable, but the second part was more enclosed and thrilling and still enjoyable. Now, I do have a rant about this, and it is the fact that the way they shifted it. I thought it's very noticeable the way they shift from an actionist tone to a more slow and thrilling tone. I thought this is very noticeable, and they could have been done better. Yeah, it's still kind of a minor complaint. It didn't take me out of the movie too badly, but it definitely could have been better. And one last right to this movie is the inclusion of the practical effects. And what I mean by this is obviously, the dinosaurs were not all CGI. Of course, the bigger scenes with the volcano eruption, they had to use CGI. They had no other choice. But, close-up scenes, like there's one scene where they're trying to do do medical treatment on Blue, the Velociraptor, that was all practical. Or what we saw from the trailers with the Indoraptor, that was all practical. And I thought that made it so much cooler, and the dinosaurs were much more menacing. But with all that out of the way, I definitely think this is a great movie, and I would recommend you see it. I would give it probably a 7 out of 10, as my rides for this movie definitely overlapped my rants about it. This was going to sum up my video. Review rant out.